All right, section 4.6 is all about medians of a triangle. So first we'll have to talk about what it means to be a median of a triangle. That is the first one right here. So write this first sentence. A median of a triangle is a segment from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. Okay? That's definition 1. Here is definition 2. The centroid of a triangle is the point where all 3 medians of the triangle intersect. So the centroid is actually the center of gravity. So if you can find the centroid where all the medians intersect, you can balance a triangle on your finger. We might do that tomorrow if we have time.
Do it.
Balance triangles on our fingers. Finding the centroid. Super fun. It's a good time.
You say everything is fun. Right?
It is fun. You just don't know what fun is. All right. You do not need to write this next part down, this theorem. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it in just a second, but I don't think you need to write it all down. We'll add that information a little later. So for now, just focus on the 2 vocabulary terms. So the median is a segment from the vertex to the midpoint. The centroid is the point where all 3 of the medians intersect. So you don't need to draw these, but here's some examples of what the median looks like. So it's in the middle of the one side. It's right at the midpoint. And then it goes across the triangle to the other vertex. Okay? So the middle of this side to the other vertex, middle of this side, opposite vertex. Okay? So this says in triangle ABC, draw a median from angle A to the opposite side. So if I start at angle A and I go to the opposite side, see how the opposite side is 14. So how long would each half be if I go right to the middle? 7. Okay, so that would be the median. It's just from a vertex to the middle of the other side. A little bit. All right, so we're going to draw a median from point A to the opposite side. Why don't you guys do 1 and 2? So draw triangle 1, triangle 2. We'll do all 4 together. I don't think we need to spend time drawing all 4 of these triangles. So draw 1 and 2. When everyone's ready, we'll go ahead and draw in the median. We'll label the opposite side. And we'll be good to go. So on number 1, if I start at A and I go to the middle of the opposite side, where would I be? What would these lengths be? The whole thing is 26.
8, 9, 10, 7, 6.
Divide 26 by 2. 13. Good. That was painful, guys. Let's see if we can do a little better over here. So on the next one, I'm going to start at A, and I'm going to go across the triangle to the midpoint.
3.
Yes, it was 6. The 2 sides are 3 and 3. Okay? I'm going to do the next 2. I told you didn't have to put them in your notes, but go ahead and watch and help me out. So if we go from A across, where would we be?
10.
5 and 5. Good. And on number 4, if we go across,
10.
it would be 10 and 10. Good. All right, those are called medians. Any questions? Okay, so instead of writing this whole box, it's useful. We'll read through it, but let's just try to simplify it into one little diagram. So the point where all the medians intersect is called the centroid. From the centroid to the angle, that's 2/3 of the length of the whole thing. The bottom, where it goes from the median to the centroid, that's 1/3 the length of the whole thing. So we're going to practice how to type that into the calculator. I'll get out the yellow calculator. It has the fraction option. I don't think the phone calculators would be a good resource at the moment.
Do it at home, right?
No, it means that you better use your homework time in class wisely.
Really, Miss London?
So what they're saying here is that
You okay there, buddy?
KN, so this whole thing is 18 units long. They're asking us to find the length of which ones? PN, right?
Yeah.
So PN is this guy right here. That's the smaller part. The smaller one is 1/3 times the whole thing. Well, the whole thing is 18. So 1/3 times 18 is what you would have to type in your calculator. So practice typing that in. 1, and then there's like an ABC button. 3 times 18. It is 6. Yep. But I want you to practice typing it in. Don't just, you should get 6, but the important part is that you know how to type it in.
Okay, come on.
So, see, I'm looking at every calculator is a little different. So, do you see the N over D button? It's like 3 buttons above the 7.
Yeah.
So, you'd hit 1. Nice.
Hey.
You'd hit 1 and then that and then 3 and then times 18 equals. On these next 3, you don't need to draw the triangle. It's fine. Put this information though. Put that the whole thing from A to D is 60. The longer one is the one that touches the angle. So this one, AP, is going to be 2/3 times the 60. The next one, from the centroid to the median, is going to be 1/3 times the whole thing. Yep. I want you to write what I'm writing and that the whole thing was 60. So just write AD equals 60. We're trying to find AP and PD.
So can I see like the whole thing?
So now we'll hit the 2, the fraction button 3, and then you can just hit times 60.
Okay,
40, good. Now, you can do the 1/3 times 60 to find the next one, or you could just think, well, if the whole thing's 60 and I already have 40, how long does the other part have to be? 20. Or the smaller segment's always half the larger one. So there's a lot of ways to arrive at that second answer. But 40 and 20 are our answers on that one. What are your questions? All right, same thing here. So HG is 36. I want to find HP and PG. Which one's the longer one, HP or PG? PG is the longer one. Yeah, the one that touches the angle is the longer one. Or you can kind of just tell from the diagram, right? This guy or this guy. So the longer one, what fraction am I going to use? 2/3. So 2/3 times 36. The shorter one is 1/3 times 36. Yes. All right, 1/3 times 36 is what? Or 2/3, whichever one you've got, I'll take.
12.
Yep, 1/3 times 36 is 12. 2/3 times 36 is 24. And then you should double check that those add to 36, and they do. So we're good. All right, number 7. KP and PM is what we're looking for, and the whole thing is 99. So KP, is that going to be the longer one or the shorter one? The longer one. So that's going to be 2/3 times 99. PM is going to be the shorter one, so that'll be 1/3 times 99. Good. So the longer one's 66, the shorter one is 33. You can always double check. The shorter one should be half the length of the longer one, and they should add to give you the total. Questions? All right. I'm going to jump right into some examples. Okay. So now we're going to look at it when they don't give us the easy segment, okay? They're going to give us one of the smaller ones, okay? So in number 8, and you can just watch on these are kind of tricky. On number 8, they give us PB. They ask us to find the whole thing. So do you remember how the longer one and the shorter one was always what compared to the longer one?
The closest to the middle.
Right, and this one was always half the length of this one. So what's half of 8? 4. They're not asking me for this one, though. They're asking me for the whole thing. So how long would the whole thing be? 4 and 8 is what? 12. That's one way to do it. That's how I usually do it. The other way would be to write an equation, which would be like 2/3 times what gave me 8. And you'd have to multiply by the reciprocal. I think that's a little extra. All right, so on number 9, if the longer segment is 2, how long would the shorter segment be? 1. And what's 2 plus 1? 3. So EH would equal 3.
3.
And then number 10. This to this is 24. But I'm looking for the whole thing. So let's find the smaller one first. How long is PM? Nope, just watch.
Oh, well, that's right.
How long is PM? 12. It's just half of it. And then add them together. What do you get? The 2 smaller segments, you get 36. Good. What are your questions?
Are we done?
We are done.
I'm hungry.
Let's summarize this. So today we learned what?
We learned the sanctuary of the triangle.
Yeah, we learned about, we'll call it medians is the first thing we learned. So medians and centroids. Good. All right. Here comes your homework.